daring escape. In the early afternoon of June 24, 2002, Kara Robinson, 15, was watering plants and bushes in the front yard of a friend's house in West Columbia when a Pontiac pulled into the driveway. Out of the car popped an affable guy in his late 30s, wearing jeans, a button-down shirt, and a baseball cap. He offered Kara some pamphlets. He said,
"Are your parents home?"
She says, "Well, this isn't my house. This is my friend's house." And he said,
"Okay, well, what about her parents? Are her parents home?"
She says, "No, her mom's not home right now." What came next was a nightmare. The man, who was later identified as 38-year-old serial killer Richard Evanitz, pulled out a gun, pressed it to Kara's neck, and forced her into a large storage bin that was stowed on the back seat of the car. She spent 18 hours of torture at the hands of her attacker before she was able to escape. Kara kept calm through torture and gathered identifying information that once she was forced inside the large storage bin on the back seat of Evanitz's car, as he drove towards his apartment, she began counting the turns he made, in hopes of later finding her way home again. She noticed details. He was listening to a classic rock station and smoking Marlboro Red cigarettes. She even memorized the serial number on the inside of the plastic container that he had forced her to kneel inside. My survival mechanism said, "All right, let's gather as much information as we can," she says. Fear barely even kicked in. The human will to survive and the survival mechanism really just can't be underestimated. On his way to his apartment, he pulled over and restrained her with handcuffs and put a gag in her mouth. He then took her to his cluttered apartment, also home to a guinea pig, a lizard, and other small animals, and assaulted her for 18 hours. Despite being terrorized, she tried to find ways to identify him. The names of his doctor and dentist were on his fridge, and to keep him calm. When he wanted her to have some food, she says, "Well, I'm not going to eat right now, but is there anything I can do for you?" She says, "I actually ended up sweeping his kitchen." A harrowing escape. In the dawn hours, while Evanitz was asleep, Kara was able to free one hand from a pair of handcuffs, which were attached to the bed frame using a circular clamp tightened by a screw, connected to a rope, with her teeth, and unclip a leather leg restraint that was attached to the foot of the bed. She quietly tiptoed to the front door and, trying to make as little sound as possible, unbolted the two locks. I know he has the gun right beside him, and he's going to see me running, and he's going to shoot me in the back. That's all I could think. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Police discover evidence that Evanitz is a serial killer. By the time authorities arrived at Evanitz's apartment, he had fled. Inside his apartment, police found a locked footlocker with newspaper clippings about the unsolved murders of 3 girls, Sophia Silva and sisters Kati and Kristen Lisk. They had all gone missing more than 5 years before Kara's abduction.
I don't care how tough you are as a cop. When you see something like that, it grabs you. At that point, bells really went off in our heads that we just didn't have a kidnapping of Kara Robinson. This was something else. This was actually a serial killer.
Police tracked Evanitz to Sarasota on June 27, 2002, and a high-speed chase there ended when he ran over spike strips on the highway and was attacked by a police dog. Evanitz then shot himself. In August 2002, Spotsylvania County Sheriff Ronald Knight announced that Evanitz was responsible for the crimes in his jurisdiction.
We have experienced these crimes, and they overwhelmed our community with a sense of grief. fear and uncertainty, much of which still lingers today.
He said, the Washington Post reported, for her help in solving the murders of Sophia and the Lisk sisters, Kara received $150,000 in reward money and was able to meet their families. It was one of the most important things that's ever happened to me because it brought home the importance of what I did. Because I felt like, wow, I'm actually giving these families something that they never would have gotten without me.